Mm,
Hello.
hello.
Now, hold on a second. I want to make sure.
Can you hear me okay?
Yeah, I can hear you fine. I just
Oh,
want
good.
to, um, uh, um, it's not what I want to. No, no. Okay, this one. Okay. Okay. Think, I think I'm set up.
Yeah, honey, I'm not. Look, I'm on the hook.
You look like a druid. What about that picture I found? Did you
I
see it?
know.
I was
Couldn't
like,
have,
oh my God, that's just like the
that,
guides.
that couldn't have been more accurate.
I
Yeah.
just was like, oh my God, I can't believe I found that.
I found out today that my ex-wife's moved on. But actually, I mean it's obvious that she didn't change it on Facebook, which is where someone told me they saw it,
Right.
until after her parents had been down to see him,
Hmm.
um, because her profile picture changed to one of her and her parents. And then yesterday, and then today, she's changed her status, which is, and my reaction actually wasn't too bad. It
Good.
was like, genuinely, I hope she's happy. I hope
Good.
she's done the work that that she needs to do.
I want to make sure this is not being live streamed. Let's just let's just double check.
Well, if it is, then so it's supposed to be.
Okay. I think I can just click it when, okay. Yeah, I think I just click the go live when I do it. This is the first time I've ever done this, so sorry. Yeah, I think we're not live. One way to find out is to go to the YouTube channel. So wow.
Oh, we
That
are live.
Oh, are we?
Yeah. But nobody's watching apparently.
Okay. Well, why is it?
Yeah. Nobody's watching.
Oh yeah, I hear you.
Yeah.
Okay. All right.
Oops. Anyway, that was obviously meant to be shared with the world. But yeah, genuinely hope she's happy.
Good. Why is I thought because there's a button here that I could click that says go live. Um, hmm. Again, sorry, this is the first time I've ever done. It's kind of exciting.
Yeah, it's fun.
Yeah, but from what I read, that I choose like it wasn't supposed to start and go live until 9 o'clock, and I don't,
Mm.
I don't, I'm gonna record it anyway as well, and then it'll go on the YouTube channel. So I'm
Yeah.
excited, but I don't want us to start
Yeah.
officially till 9 o'clock
Yeah,
anyway.
no, that's cool.
Yeah, and there's nobody watching it, so that's very weird. Why does it say, I don't know. I was saying like you have to be a computer technician as well. As
Yeah,
well.
yeah. See, yeah, you kind of be like a jack of all, isn't it?
Seriously, it's exhausting. I'm like, why did I have to become an engineer when uh so I set up a few talking points just to sort of
Okay.
guide. I mean, like we were saying like what we might talk about, and um but of course it'll be organic, but maybe
Yeah.
so what I'm going to do is at 9 o'clock I'm going to introduce myself, and then I'm going to introduce you, and then and then maybe ask you a little bit about like a little bit about your spiritual journey or something.
Yeah, I mean that'll be fun. That'll take all of about. 4 hours.
Yeah, I mean, just like to sort of say like,
Brief overview.
yeah, a brief
Yeah.
overview of like who you are, what you do, and so on. And then we could maybe get into the cycles that you were talking about, the
Yeah.
galactic, the Earth, and us. And then maybe also, if we have time, talk about neutrality,
Mhm.
and then talk about what you've learned through the Lightworkers Collective, like how it's played a role in all of this. Does that sound good?
Yeah. Yeah, definitely. Yeah.
And I'm thinking this, I don't want it really to be more than an hour because,
No, no, no.
yeah, I think that that's like 45 minutes to an hour. I think that should be
Yeah,
good.
no,
Sound
I'm
good?
I'm all right with that. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah. Okay.
very
Yeah.
excited.
Yeah.
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 No, you
I
look
mean,
very druid.
I kind of can't help that, I don't think.
Cosmic Druid Wizard.
Yeah.
I was hoping my one of my friends would be watching it because he's quite a druid himself. Um, but we'll see.
Mm.
Do I have my oh no, I have to switch my channel. Um, yeah, look on my YouTube and see if anything's showing up in my own channel. Yeah, there we are. Okay. Um, but I'm wondering if this is it's not the one that oh, heaven's sake. Hmm, okay. Doesn't show the title. I'm a little confused.
No, it just says integrated soul healing live stream, doesn't it?
Yeah, that shouldn't be, that's wrong. That's wrong. Um, that's not correct. Um, hold on. Famous live stream performance. No, this is wrong. Why is this doing this? See what I mean?
Yeah. It's
It's
mental,
just,
isn't it?
it's really weird.
Maybe
It's like
you
I'm
don't
like,
get the title until
I
it's
don't know.
until after the fact and it's been like put it on for replay.
Maybe.
I don't know.
I
I have
don't
no
know
idea.
either. And then this is, hold on. Um, no, this is wrong. Exiting will not end a stream if it is currently live. Huh, okay. I feel like I have like too many streams going on at the same time. That's the problem.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm just going to close this and reopen it and see what happens. Okay. Um,
It's
sorry. I hope I'm not messing this up completely.
no, I mean it's 8 o'clock and it's live on
Yeah.
YouTube as
Okay. Um, what's this not? You know, they this is wrong. This is wrong. Okay. They all right. I'm gonna just check something with my on my Facebook to see if it because the link that I put out I think might be incorrect. This should not be this complicated.
No, it shouldn't, should it?
It should not be this complicated. All right. All right. So I put the link. Here's the link. Yeah, this is wrong. People are not going to be able to watch this. Um, all
So
right, you know what
the
hold on a
link
second. I'm going to sorry, what?
the link on your post sends you to your YouTube channel, but not
Yes.
straight to the video.
Yeah, I know, because what they did is that they recreated the video. I don't understand. All right, well, I'm just going to do some, well, okay. Yeah, so video link. Okay, I'm going to copy this and I'm just going to say updated link. Updated link. Updated link. Yeah. Okay. All right. There we go. And then I'm going to put add followers. Ah, you with me?
Hmm.
Yeah, you're good. Yeah, okay. Yeah, I
Yeah.
really I don't know why it was doing this, but it is. Um, but is anybody watching yet?
Only me.
Only you. Good. Well, whoever's watching this in the future will just tell them, don't bother with the first 10 minutes.
It's only been three so far. It's fine.
Yeah, but it's been like recording, so
Oh, yeah.
so like if anybody updated link. Okay, updated link. Okay. Okay. At can I do everyone? Followers. Highlight. I don't know. Okay. At followers. All right. This is the best I can do. Okay. It is what it is, right?
Exactly. It's all perfect.
It is
It's
what it
all perfect.
it's all perfect. Updated link. Okay. I'm just putting it everywhere. And it is what it is. Okay.
And
And
it
then
will
I'm going to
be
put
what it will be.
it'll be, I love that. Yes.
It is what it
Okay.
is, and it will be what it will be.
All right. Okay. So here we go. All right. I think we're good to go, I think. All right. So, all right. Technology.
Oh, I know. Isn't it great? Isn't it great? Don't we just love it, eh?
Well, hey, I'm just excited that I was able to like get us streaming from Zoom.
This, yeah,
You
yeah,
know,
no.
with a few complications and all of that, but we're doing it. We're doing it. So I'm very
I,
excited.
I'd have had to muddle my way through it too.
So I just want to briefly introduce myself for anybody who's watching now or in the future who Oh, no me. My name is Anna Pavlakis, and I am a healer, a shamanic healer, and a feng shui practitioner and a spiritual coach and teacher. I'm also the founder director of the Lightworkers Collective, a wonderful group of lightworkers, starseeds, healers, shamans, druids, spiritual seekers, new earth co-creators, and it's a support group that meets every week. And we're doing amazing stuff in it. It's very, very exciting. And I'm originally from New York City, and I am really, really excited to be here with Scott, who has so kindly agreed to come and chat for a bit about all sorts of interesting spiritual things. I was honored to meet Scott as a member of the Lightworkers Collective, and I have to say, Scott, that I love your energy and your wisdom and what you bring in to the group. It's amazing.
Thank you.
Um, because, as I hold space for that group, uh, holding space for such an amazing group of people, such talented and um, connected people, such as yourself, has been a great privilege. And I think that we always learn from each other. So I'm really excited to see where our conversation goes today. So would you like to introduce yourself a little bit?
Yeah, okay. I don't really know what to say. I really appreciate that. That's beautiful. Thank you. Yeah, I love being there. You know, I had to take a break recently because I had some stuff to deal with, and I
Mhm,
needed to go into hermit mode for a little bit. It would appear, although I didn't know it at the time.
mhm.
That's what I ended up doing. Um, and yeah, where do we start? Where do we start? I've always been fond of the forest, um, backwards and forwards. Things flow. Um, but I didn't really know why until probably last year fully.
Mm.
Um, Year before, I just liked it. It was my happy place always, either the forest or the beach. Um, and then like I had, suppose you could call it an awakening process over many years. Um, Various angel visits, archangel visits, and just weird, crazy stuff going on.
As it does.
Yeah, yeah. Until the last sort of few years, and it's gone bonkers crazy.
Mhm.
Um, yeah, and then in 2012, there was a big shift in me. My brother passed away. He moved on or transitioned, whatever you want to call it. He as a it was there was an accident, and it was quite unexpected, very unexpected. It was just here, gone. And that was a big shift for me. Um,
Yeah.
and I expanded and I contracted and I expanded and I contracted in various ways spiritually on and off since then until March of 2020, just before we hit lockdown. I was blessed with a stroke, and that paralyzed my whole left hand side, and I'm lying in the hospital bed, and Jesus is appearing at the bottom of my bed with his hands out, just down by his sides, but palms open. And my whole body is glowing this golden, sparkly light. while I'm lying in the hospital bed, only able to move one side of my body. And um, and it's not like I hadn't had interactions with him before, with the energy before, because I had previously, when in the cycles of the ebbs and the flows and the ups and the downs, I did my Reiki qualifications, and he was a big helper for me during that time. Um, and lots of different spiritual exploration going on there during that time. So I wasn't shocked. It wasn't like a, oh my God, come to Jesus moment, so to speak.
Mm-hmm.
Um, it was all very calm and beautiful and loving. And then he was back in my life then for a while I healed and pushed and tried to just return life back to how it was before, which was great. Um, but things had changed, and going back to how it was before wasn't going to be an option.
No.
Um, so ups and downs and ebbs and flows and recovery from that on a physical and an emotional level. And then I got the draw to start going to, I knew I had to go. I saw an image of myself on the top of Glastonbury Tor watching the sunrise at a summer solstice, which I did in 2022.
Mm-hmm.
And like I had the image was of me meeting someone there, and I didn't meet anyone there. It wasn't until really now that I'm looking back, I kind of knew it at the time, and someone did drop the hint, but it was myself that I went to meet there. It was a newer aspect of the self that was coming into fruition. Um, and from there, we went on a more of a discovery mode of and a return to the forest and the fairies and the druids and learning as much as I could about things, finding things that resonated, that didn't, returning to old spiritual information that and esoteric information that I had read, listened to, heard, and like the Kabbalion and the seven Hermetic principles and the Emerald tablets, gone back to them.
Oh,
And
I was just talking about those this week. I was at a meeting about that.
yeah,
Interesting.
and it was like I was reading it all again for the first time, you know,
Mhm.
and yeah, and then I found myself at Stonehenge for the winter solstice that year,
Mhm.
just walking around in a circle, walking round and round in a circle for 2 hours. I walked around in a circle, anti-clockwise around the outside of Stonehenge, just what intuition had me doing at the time. Um, and it's only recently I'm doing some research about giants, and the original name for Stonehenge was called the Giants, or an original name for Stonehenge, supposedly. It's called the Giants
Giants what?
Dance.
Oh. Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah.
Oh, wow. Ah, that's mind-blowing. That's mind-blowing.
And since finding that out, because I've now moved to a different place, different area of the country, but since finding that out, a lot of some of the rituals that I've been doing here in the fairy end, we've got a little fairy glen at the bottom of the garden. It's great. Um, for winter solstice, and down by the river near here, there's a willow tree that I've become very friendly with. And there I've done a few little ceremony ritual things It's like on a peninsula bit that's gone into the river. It's like a little, so I've got a river flowing on both sides, and it's really nice. Um, and then in there, and a couple of times, I've sort of gone into a space where I'm staring down at Stonehenge first from sort of like an angle like that, and then expand until it's like a bird's eye view looking down.
Um,
Almost gets bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger, and I can just see it. And at one point, I was just looking, and then the next time I was there, yeah, one time I was just looking, and there was there was women dancing in on the inside in a circle. I can't remember what way they were going, and the opposite way, the giants were dancing on the outside of the circle. And it was all in and they were in multiples of three, so a three and a six or a nine or a 12 or um yeah. And then the next time I was there in that space, I was dancing in where like with the giants.
with
I
them.
was seeing that it was me that was there with them dance, you know, tapped into that energy and found that space. And that was, I'm not quite sure what it all means yet. So after that, I was like, right, giants of ancient Britain, you know, because all the giants had already come to me before in my old back garden. But they introduced themselves. It's like, we are the giants of ancient Britain. We'll be in touch.
I remember when you told me this. Yes.
And
What does
you know,
one say?
yeah.
You know? Okay.
Okay, cool, yeah. Speak to you soon, I guess. All right, be gentle though, please.
Yeah.
um,
All
so
these
that's
initiations, these are all initiations of some sort.
so that's crazy and interesting, and that sparked off a research into giants in the UK, and I did not know how much history this land and like Great Britain and Ireland have with giants.
Hmm.
There's so many stories, and they're all over the place, and there's giant remains have been found length and breadth, little islands, you know, as well. Like there's an island in the Bristol Channel. There's a giant skeleton found. You know, there's plenty of stories of giants and where they came from. And
And what do you
I
feel that your connection to them is?
goes back way back, and it's the so it's so from what I feel, from what I've learned so far, bearing in mind I'm not an expert, not trying to claim to be. Um, from other information that I've gathered as well from different things, like I saw something on Instagram today about whales and song lines, and the song lines and the ley lines are the same thing.
Mhm.
Um, and then so like a bit of string, pluck it, it vibrates, it sends information across the globe, and that it's like a network of information across the globe. Um, so the, and then the giants dance hit me with Stonehenge, and then over here with all the stone circles laid out, not just to the sky and the cosmos, um, and to the cycle, but on the ley lines and the nodal points and the special places. There's if there's stones, for me, from what I'm seeing, if there's stones, that's where information was seeded into the ley lines
Through the
by
stones.
vibration through the stones.
Mm-hmm.
Not just seeded in, but received too.
Mm-hmm.
The vibration was put into the stones and received from the stone.
Mm.
Maybe it was sung into the stones and then danced out of the stones, or danced into the stones, or, or what. I don't know how. I've not got the mechanics of it.
Mm-hmm.
But if Stonehenge is being called the Giants' Dance, why were they dancing there?
Mm-hmm.
Because of the vibration, probably likely from singing the songs and dancing with the songs.
Mm. Wow.
That's kind of where I'm at with that at the minute.
Yeah. Oh, that's such a different. So, we hear so much about Stonehenge and the standing stones and the circles, but this is a very new way of looking at them for me.
Mm.
This idea of singing, the singing to the stones and how they. So, do you think that it's also a form of earth acupuncture that they've been placed there to like activate those points the
It
way
could,
like an acupuncture needle does?
yeah, yeah. That's the way of when energy builds up, it needs to be released. And
Yes.
you look at even like what the sun's doing at the moment with all the solar flares, it's
Mm,
releasing energy, probably.
mhm,
So am I, it would appear. Uh, um, and in us as well, we have our energy centers, we have our meridian lines and our nodal points. So when things get backed up and clogged up and things aren't moved and kept flowing and not maintained and looked after, we'll go get acupuncture, we'll have a Reiki therapy, we'll do some form of work to help keep the energy flowing through.
mhm,
So to me, it would make sense that dancing around the stones,
mhm,
singing to the stones is a
mhm.
way of doing something with the energy, doing
Yes.
something with, and it's like each solstice and each equinox, be it summer, winter, spring, or autumn, brings in its own light codes, brings in its own new information from this point in the cycle. So you have a celebration at a ceremony at these places is a way of bringing in those light codes and anchoring it into the ley lines and the things of the earth there
Mhm,
at that point. Because there's no greater manifestation, there's no greater way of moving energy than joy, love, happiness, dancing, party. That's
mhm,
all it was. It's just a big party to enjoy ourselves and to dance and sing and bring the light codes through us into the stones, into the earth, into the ley lines, into the song lines for it to do what it is. We have to
mhm,
bring it down and we have to anchor
mm.
it in because
Yes.
otherwise it don't go anywhere and it stays and it becomes stagnant and it blocks and
Mhm.
um
And with
yeah.
singing, I mean, in the beginning there was the word, right? There's
Yeah.
Om. I mean, the universe basically was created from sound, from the
And
from
that's all
the
we're feeling is the ripples of that, isn't
mm-hmm, mm-hmm. And sound and movement have always been the way that humanity has connected to the
it?
divine and to the earth. It's always been through sound and movement, through chanting, through singing, through drumming,
Mm.
through, vibration
Mm.
of all of that, stomping and,
Mm.
and then, as you said, the joy, the frequency of the joy, the frequency of the um, that kind of pure expression of uh, connection with
Mm.
whatever the divine is to whoever's celebrating it at that time. That's an extremely well, it's just an extremely powerful way. And so when you think that in every spiritual practice around the world, there's always sound. There's always sound. Wow.
And then I'm convinced that this is partly the job of the bards.
Mm-hmm.
They're not just storytellers
Mm-hmm.
and singers and poets. Yes, that may be the form that they choose to express themselves creatively, and they are good at that. But they understood, but the well-trained ones anyway, I'd imagine, understood the importance of the vibration, and they were there, and they're singing, and the stuff that they did, their creation of sound,
Mm-hmm.
that in those moments brings the whole community together
Yes.
to enhance the vibration for greater co-creation.
Yes. The ritual of it, the ritual of that, of the way the bards sang and went about from place to place,
Mm.
from, sacred site. They probably traveled along the ley lines.
Mm.
When I was in, we say college, but university, I was absolutely fascinated by the bards and
Mm.
by the Welsh, in particular the Welsh bards, and I read all kinds of the bardic poems and all of
Mm.
that, and then I became very very obsessed with John Keats,
All right, yeah.
my favorite poet, and I did a special paper on his poem "Ode to the Nightingale," "Ode to a Nightingale," and in it, I mean, this was a long time ago, but in it, I was talking about ritual because there's a repetitiveness in the poem,
Mm.
and it's echoing the repetitiveness of the call of the nightingale and how this ritual of the sound puts him into a different state.
Yeah.
And um, and when you think of, a shaman, they're always put into a different state usually through sound.
Mm-hmm.
And so it's all different expressions of that way of connecting.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's that poem specifically that's taking cues from your environment and nature
Yes.
and how environment and how nature does things,
Yes.
and bringing them into our lives because obviously we're not separate from, we're part of, aren't we? So if we see the cycles that Mother Nature shows us in
Yes.
all things, then we can understand the cycles that happen within ourselves.
Yeah.
But because we are also cosmic beings, everybody, we can then look up and see the cycles of the stars and the sun and the moon. And if we can harmonize our cycles with the cosmos and with the earth, we can understand what's happening in our lives and when and why. And you can start to notice the patterns and the cycles and the things, and you can be like, oh, so this is happening here at the moment, up there in the sky, or
Mhm.
what's happening inside me and my feelings and my surroundings. I can look at nature at any point in nature. Like me personally, right now, due to various circumstances in the past, recent past, I felt like I've been floating, 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 just dropping and floating and floating and floating. Earlier today, I've realized I dropped, I descended, and I dropped, and that was the floating.
Mhm.
And I fell into darkness and I broke. Now, when a seed falls from a tree or a bird's beak or something, it falls, it hits the floor, then it descends into more darkness, into darkness. Then the seed shell breaks. It's not until the seed shell is broken that you can start then putting the roots out to then grow,
Mhm.
break through and ascend into the sunshine and become the tree, plant, flower that you, you were dropped to be.
Exactly.
And
It's
that, to me, that descending into the darkness to break your shell, to be able to put your roots out, to get the nutrients, to find the power to push through the surface and find the sunshine, that's where shadow work is. That's
yes,
the space of shadow work.
yes,
It,
yes.
it, it's
It's
just,
it's so interesting to me that we're talking about this the night after I had a very interesting experience. Last night I went to a sound bath, and I don't always go to these types of things, but I felt like I should go to this one.
yeah,
And I had a very interesting experience. It wasn't like a lot of times you go to sound baths, you just kind of zone out and oh
yeah.
yeah, no. This one, I was taken into the underworld over and over and over again. I was fed upon.
Mm,
Um, I was dismantled. I was, and this was, it happened several times in the thing. I went through like death and rebirth, death and
mm,
rebirth, death and rebirth. Well, this little sound bath, and um, uh, and at the end, I was uh, well, reborn without going into too many details. I was reborn into this, into, yeah, what it felt like I was meant to be, at
yeah,
least for the purposes of that journey that I was on. And, but I literally felt like I had been broken apart and dismantled during the
yeah.
process. And it was not what I had expected. So it's very interesting that we're talking about this 24 hours after that happened to me.
Yeah, yeah.
And
And it's the nature of things, isn't it? Like,
right? Yeah.
um,
And being broken apart and doing that shadow work, I mean, it's essential, I think. People don't always like, you know, the the thought of it, but it's so important
yeah,
and like you said, it brings you to who you were put here to be, to who you
yeah,
came here to be. Um, and if we look at it as simply a cycle, as you were saying, it's a part of nature.
mm,
Um, Everything, ebbs and flows, everything goes up and down.
mm,
Uh, I mean, people, the humanity is very lives in fear, as we know, and they're very afraid of that dip.
mm,
They're very afraid of things that get them out of their comfort zone. They want everything to just be going along like this. But without these, there's no growth. And it's not
yeah.
exactly that you have to grow through pain. It's not that. It's not
Although
that.
this time round, apparently my choice was to, you know, it's been good though. It's been, I'm not going to lie, it's definitely been worth it so far. You know, if you
Yep,
can, it's helped me reach the perspective of the trick is to,
to ride it.
yeah, and to try, you can stay like this, but this is going to happen anyway.
It's life. Yes.
So it's about loving this,
Mm-hmm.
but loving this just as much, no matter how much it
Oh, I
hurts,
love that.
no matter how painful it is. And
I
it is
love
painful
that.
at times. You can sit in it and you can then when you once you recognize, oh, I'm at the cycle, I'm going in the down bit of the cycle, and then you hit the down bit of the cycle and you get to the bottom, and you're like, okay, I'm at the bottom.
Mm,
I was at the bottom and I was like, right, I'm ready to go back up again. And it was like, no, you haven't broken your shell yet. You haven't dipped your roots in yet. If you go up too quickly, you don't create a sturdy tree and it'll get blown
mm,
over in the wind. You need to go
mm,
down first. You need to
mm.
break and go down and go even further down.
Yeah, yeah.
Um, and if you can recognize that and recognize that's where you are in your particular cycle of things, like earlier today, I sat in front of the fire, chilled out for a bit, uh, wrote some letters and put them in the fire. And during this process, it helps me to see where I was on the cycle and know what process I have to follow at that point in the cycle. You know, my
Mm-hmm.
shell has broken. Okay, well, let it break. Let my shell, it's going to be painful. My shell is going to have to break for me to start putting down roots.
Yeah. I
Can't just
mean,
rush to put down roots.
a bird has to break the shell to come out of the egg.
Yep. The
When we're
cocoon has
born,
to,
we have to go down through the birth
exactly.
canal, you
Yeah.
know? Birth is a death.
Um, and so I let my shell break over
Uh-huh.
funny enough, over the 222 portal
Uh-huh.
and full moon portal, I went and I let it all come out and I needed to. And I recognized that because that's where I was at.
You surrendered.
Yeah, I let it happen. It was painful. But once the pain had been released, there was relief.
Mm.
It was relief. It was like, okay, I can feel like I'm starting to be able to breathe again. You know, it's now time to start putting some roots down and reaching for the sun.
Yeah, yeah.
Um, yeah.
And there's that interplay, you know,
But
between that darkness and then the glorious, glorious sun
yeah,
that nourishes us, that nourishes the seeds that have been planted
mm,
in the earth. Yeah. Um, I want to talk a little bit about what we talked about before, neutrality.
that
Um,
that actually, I could have followed that on to that.
uh-huh.
Um, so learning to love every part of the cycle
Mm-hmm.
and not demonize any of it and love it for exactly what it is and what purpose it has. For me, brings you to a space of neutrality. And if you can do that inside, then it gives you the opportunity. And if you can see that and do that for yourself,
Mm-hmm.
look at the jealousy that gets put in your face. Why? What is it about? Why? What can I do to heal this part of me?
Mm-hmm.
Accept it for what it is and love it for what it is, and it's okay, and it's fine.
Yeah.
That's not a problem. I have this part of me, and it's
Mhm.
there because I feel like this or this happened to me in the past or da 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 da. Da. You know, there's something different for everybody. See it, recognize it, understand it, love it,
Yes.
and then you can put it down
The
if you want
loving
to.
it is what I think many struggle with.
Yeah.
They can often see it, even if they
Mm.
don't want to. Learning to recognize it is a skill that takes practice, but it could be learned.
Yeah.
The loving it,
Oh,
there could be, that's the trick, yeah?
yeah. 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 And there's a lot of blockages to it.
Yeah.
There's a lot of blockages, and I'm not saying it's easy. It's not
No,
easy. I'm still learning. You know, I'm still
me too.
learning. I'm still growing.
Me
Like
too.
it's a never-ending journey.
No,
It's a never-ending journey. It's
course.
a never-ending cycle throughout your life. If you look, and that's where numerology comes in. You can look. You can see the cycles.
Yes.
The trick is loving absolutely every part of it as best as you can,
Yes.
not having any expectations of any point upon the cycle. Love it for what it is right there at that point
Hmm.
in your process.
And realize that
And
wherever you are is perfect.
yeah, it's all perfect as it is. And one, once this cycle is recognized, sometimes it's easier to recognize it externally first.
Yeah.
You know, um, like you could go complete extremes to the wars that are going on and the atrocities and the horrible things that humanity has done to each other. And you can be like, and this is where I feel like divine neutrality comes into it. It's like, okay, I don't condone you for your actions. I don't like you for what you're doing. I think actually what you're doing is horrendous and despicable. But I'm not going to judge you for that. I'm going to put my feelings of that being not kind, horrendous, despicable, whatever. I'm going to take those feelings. I'm going to put them to the side. I'm going to take your actions. I'm going to put them to the side because it's not your actions that I'm trying to love. It's you as your divine soul person that is here to play the role that you've come
Yes.
here to play. And actually, I've got a great reverence and a great respect for those that have come here to play the role of the bad guy
I feel the same way.
because they're taking on so much persecution,
Exactly.
so much hate, so much
Completely
pain they're
agree.
taking on. You know, I'm so
How much,
grateful.
how much do they love us to agree to take that on?
Exactly. Yeah. Do you know what?
That's love.
Yeah.
To show us, to take that on, to show us
Mm,
that shadow.
yeah. Right. I love you so much. I'm going to be the bad guy for you.
Yeah.
And you can see that in your personal life sometimes. If you really step back and
Hmm.
have a look, you can look at some people in your lives and you go, wow, actually, you love me more than I know.
Yeah.
You love me more than I realize because you are providing this service to me.
Yeah.
And it's beautiful. It's
Yes.
all beautiful and it's all perfect. And that's that space of being neutral.
Hmm. One of the things I love so much about Ho'oponopono is that acknowledgement of that love
Mm.
and and taking personal responsibility for your part in this dynamic, whatever it is.
Mm.
And and I love you. Thank you. You know,
And then and then
and then it goes to 0 point, goes to neutrality.
yeah. And then you've got then you can even go as far as to look at yourself, look at the times you've played the role of the bad guy for people,
Exactly.
and then be like, oh, that's why I did that
Hmm.
to show them this.
Hmm.
So they could see this lesson within themselves and heal this.
Yes.
That's why a lot of us light worker type people will trigger people because we're healing people in
Yeah.
doing so.
Yeah.
Um, and but loving all for
Yeah.
all that it is, good and bad,
And
so to speak,
and
depending on
show
perspective.
and showing mirrors to people, and
Mm,
realizing that people are showing mirrors to ourselves,
mm,
that we're all just reflecting back to each other these different aspects of ourselves, these shadows. And
right.
um yeah, I'm getting like chills from this
Yeah.
because that is really the key, isn't it? This is the key.
This
It's the
is
key to peace. And
yeah.
it's not, it's very important to make the distinction between this and spiritual bypassing, right? There's a lot of talk about spiritual bypassing and it's important.
Mm,
Um, but this isn't about pushing things down and saying, oh,
yes,
everything is love and light. No, this is
no.
not about that at all. It's about really getting down into the dirt and seeing the ugly,
Mm,
the thing, the most horrible things you don't want to see, whether it be in ourselves or in the world. We have to face it. We have to face that shadow. And I think humanity at this time is going through this collectively of having to look at this collective shadow from all
mm.
of these thousands of years of
Yeah.
dark acts.
Well, the look at again, you could go back to nature and look at the cycles of the,
Mhm.
you know, the rot and decay and how it
Exactly.
feeds new life.
Yes.
That's why the ancients, the new day started with the setting sun.
Really?
Yeah.
Ah,
The new day was descending into darkness,
I like that.
effectively going into germination.
Mm,
I call it the womb of the night.
mm,
And I do a little kind of meditation prayer type thing that kind of poem almost. I like to do my prayers and meditations. I like to make them rhyme. I feel like it makes them more powerful. I don't know.
like a good
Um,
bard.
it brings for me personally, it brings a flow to it. You know,
Mm,
um, I can't remember the exact wording, but I do this one where I do all my protections and my releases and I cut cords every night, toxic cords. I cut them every night. Thank you to the Lightworkers Collective for the tools for that. Um, and the cord cutting and the protections. I do that every night before I go to sleep for me. And the protections are done for the wherever I happen to be laying my head at that point.
mm,
Most of the time in the cabin, but I follow it up before I actually, while my eyes are closed, before I consciously try to switch off and go to sleep. I say a little prayer or a rhyme or a thing about going into the womb of the night to germinate and manifest and breathe forth my highest timeline when being rebirthed in the morning light.
oh, I love that. Oh, I love that.
Because you're going back into cycles.
Yeah.
It's not just one life we're living. It's not just one in and out.
Mm,
Every night is a
mm,
going in and every morning is coming out.
mm,
And like you can start your day whenever you like. It's all cycles. Pick your point. Pick your point in an
Mm-hmm.
infinite fractal and an infinite cycle where,
Mm-hmm.
it's all there, and that's like, that's why God is everything, because God is the infinite fractal, isn't it?
Mm-hmm.
Pick a
I love
point on that,
fractals.
pick a point on that infinite fractal, you'll find God, whether it's me, you, the camera, crystal, cup of tea,
Mm-hmm.
this little speck of dust.
Mm-hmm.
It's all the same.
It is. It is.
Mm.
Love it. Love it. Yeah, I think um this week I've been thinking a lot about these themes after, again, I went to this talk about the seven hermetic principles, and we talked a lot about this and as above, so below. Um, when you realize that everything is a reflection of everything, and so it's like we're in a house hall of mirrors, and everything is reflecting back to you. And like you were saying, everything is perfect, everything is divine. And I always say, whatever point you are, it's perfect.
Mm.
And to be able to step out of that judgment and lack of self-love, of, that we tend to like beat ourselves up for not being enough or not at the right, not where you should be.
Mm.
And it's like, no, wherever you are, it's perfect. And whatever mistake you made is perfect. You
Yeah,
make a mistake, hey, great. You know,
another
you,
lesson to learn.
exactly.
Another A mistake is just another mirror pointing back at you.
Exactly.
Um,
And it's what you do with the mistake. And then you always have a choice. We always have a choice
mm,
in how we respond to something, right?
mm.
And that the more we are able to step back and to look at these things through the eyes of neutrality, and step out of the drama of it, right? Um, the less and less these things are going to start showing up in our everyday reality.
Yeah, and that's the hard bit, is not getting tangled and caught in the web of the drama of it and going, okay,
Yeah,
this is what it is. I'm going to step back. I'm going to watch it play out.
yeah.
You know,
And it's
especially when like it's something that's really close to your heart, whatever it be. Because that's tough for
yeah.
everybody. There's not one person that I know that don't struggle with that. When it hits you there, it knocks everything off. But I can promise you, from my experience, that you can only run away from it for so long.
Mm,
It's only in facing it and addressing it, no matter how ugly it gets, that you can, and that's the cycle. Each situation that brings that is that cycle of going into it to see it, to feed it, for it to break you so you can put your roots down and grow, whether it be from your heart, from your head, from your feet, from whatever. It's not easy to not get sucked into the drama of things, especially when matters of the heart are involved for everybody.
mhm.
But
But
if you can reach a point where you can step back from it and you can go,
yeah,
okay, I see what's happening here. I see where we are on this point of the cycle.
yeah.
I love all that's involved for all the roles that have been played, including myself. I see where I've made my mistakes. I see where I've made the lessons are for me in this situation. I see where I've fallen into the drama of it. I see where I've put myself in this position or that position. I see where I played the role of the bad guy. I see that where I play the role of the good guy. And I love it all for what it is and what it's shown me and how it's helping me grow and become and step into the person that I've.
And this is literally the point of why we came into these bodies, is to experience that,
Mm,
to go into that duality. That's why we're here,
mm.
is to have go through this process.
And the reason it ebbs and flows and ups and downs is because it's, and this is it, it's not so much a wave like that. I see it more as a cycle,
Cycle.
as a circle. Um, like if you see zoomed out image of the solar system traveling through space, it's all cyclic. You know, that's what we
Mm-hmm.
do.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and we heal. But if we don't heal something, if we get reached here on the cycle and we don't heal it, then when we get round here, we feel it again.
Mm-hmm.
And each time we hit that point, whatever it is, we can either stay on the same level or we can heal that bit of it and move up and then hit the and then hit it again and then
Mm-hmm.
heal the next level and like,
Yep.
oh, I didn't go that
That's
deep into it last time.
that's
I'll
why
go,
I see it as a spiral
yeah, yeah,
often. I see it as a circle and I see it as a spiral.
yeah, like a
Um,
corkscrew.
yes, because there's always some progress made.
Yeah,
Even if
yeah.
you, even for people who think that they just repeat the same patterns over and over and over again and not get anywhere, which,
Hmm.
happens. But I think there is, even if it's very minute, there's some sort
Just
of, yeah, there's some
sliver off the
progress.
top. Yeah, and
Yeah,
there's different things at different points
exactly.
on the spiral. You know, it's that's why. And I think personally, if you go back and you look at a lot of the old kind of druid symbolism, spirals and circles,
Yes.
you know,
In
spirals and
Native
spirals and spirals.
American dances, they often are dancing in spirals, they're dancing in circles.
Mm,
Um, and whenever I see that, it really resonates very
mm,
deeply with me. I love spirals. I love that. And learning is like that. Any type of learning is like that.
mm,
You go back and even if you read the same text again, you're getting a deeper layer of meaning, you know?
mhm.
So it's another sacred geometry, right?
Or fractals, yeah.
Yeah, fractals.
It's
I
fractals
love
upon fractals upon
on
cycles upon cycles.
exactly.
Yeah,
Um, Starting to run out of time, I think, but
that's
um,
cool.
let's talk a little bit about the Lightworkers Collective,
Yeah,
because that's how we came together through that wonderful group, and it's very deeply moving to me that the techniques
mm.
that we learned in that group have served you
Oh,
in this process of um, inner inner work, that inner exploration, and um, so yeah, I don't know. Is there anything you'd like to share about that?
yeah. I combine a lot of the cleansing work that we've learned. I combine a lot of that with the. I use white pine and rosemary
Oh,
to smudge because that's local to here. That's native to here. That's the one that we use here.
you have
And look,
rosemary there. Ah, wonderful.
there's point in me shipping in Palo Santo and white sage from across
Yes,
the other side of the world when I've
yeah,
got plenty of good things to use right here.
exactly.
And the great thing about white pine is when I did my
Okay.
space first new moon of the year, I cleansed this space. Don't know why I did it on the new moon. I always cleanse on the
Chinese
new
New
moon.
Year,
I always cleanse on the new moon.
Chinese New Year.
Uh, each new moon I cleanse because I'm bringing in cleanliness for the next cycle.
Yes, yes.
Um, but it was nice afterwards. I did the metaphysical kind of cleansing and then the
Mhm.
physical cleansing with the white pine, and I came in and it was like I felt like my skin was breathing in the freshness of the white pine because it was so clean in here on all the levels.
Yeah.
By mixing in the metaphysical and the physical.
Yeah.
And that's, to me, again, takes you back to that neutral place because you're doing the above and you're doing the here, you know, the above and the cosmos and the earth. You're doing the above and the below, and everything has its place. Everything has its place.
The inner cleansing, the outer cleansing. I have to say, I love pine. It is my shamanic tree. All types of pine, I think in particular, the Mediterranean maritime pine, or they call it, maritimo. It's like I see these trees and I just want to cry. I love them so much. There's such a deep, deep connection to them. So doing cleansing with whatever's local, of the earth of the place where you're in, I think it's always the best.
Yeah.
It's always the best. It's more, I think, more authentic. I love that you took what we learned in the Lightworkers Collective and made it your own, because that's what it's supposed to be.
And that's the beauty of it, is it's not regimented, it's not rigid. It's like I have to take these tablets from doctors because of having the stroke.
Right.
And I it always didn't sit right with me taking them. Something about them just felt off.
Yeah.
And probably wasn't supposed to, but I got guided to come off them for a little while. So I did. I just sort of cut down and stopped taking them for about a month and a half. And then when I started taking them again, because I got guidance to take them again, I felt fear like you wouldn't believe. I was like, oh, and this is after a few activations had happened in the fairy glen and out for a walk down by the willow tree. I had a few, activations, I would say, meetings, so to speak. So I started feeling things, the energy of things a lot stronger. And then I was like, right, okay, I wonder if it's the tablet. I wonder if there's a fear encoded into the tablets because they were given to me as precautionary basis. If you don't take these, you might die.
Sounds like fear to me.
So each morning and evening when I have to take the tablets, I do one of the cleansing and clearing things that we learned in the Lightworkers Collective. I've shifted it and made it my own specifically to cleanse out the fear that's been encoded into the tablets. And I don't feel that fear anymore.
That is,
unless it's like late at night and I forgot to take it and I'm just quick boom, like and
but your intention's already there.
Yeah. And
so it's
and
in place.
And when I get the new ones, I lay them all out and I get my smudge, my white pine off, like a dragon blowing smoke over the tablets with the intention of clearing them. So I do it on both levels still.
I love it. And you said that fear is gone.
Yeah. It's just, if
0 point neutrality.
Yeah, just there's nothing.
And that's what I as the facilitator of the Lightworkers Collective, I bring in these teachings that I've channeled and collected and modified, because I tend to learn things and then I get ways that they can be shifted or improved or whatever, and then I make it my own. If it's not something that I've directly channeled myself. And so, and I think that, you know, since everyone in the group is so different, seeing how everyone will use it in their own way, it's so it's beautiful. It's beautiful. And I think like this is what this is how we're meant to be, because we're using it in our own unique expressions,
Mm.
so that we can be who we are, so that we can have our gifts magnified, and our energy continuing to vibrate at a higher and higher frequency. And so it's been very, very beautiful to witness this, and the shifting and the growth within
And,
people.
and that's the joy of it from my point of view. My perspective of it is it's because I mean we're all here on our own journey, all here
Yeah.
to experience life in our own way. Because what's the point of God fractalizing into all things if
Right.
it's not going to experience everything slightly differently?
Hmm. Exactly.
Might as well just be the same person
Exactly.
otherwise.
And speaking of neutrality, everyone can just show up authentically, and there's no judgment.
Yeah.
You can just be who you are, and we'll just hold space for you.
Mhm. And this is it. It's nice to have the common ground in the
Yeah.
base work of the techniques to use.
Yeah.
That is good because we're human and we doubt ourselves
Yeah.
and this and that and the other. So the common ground of the base of the techniques is brilliant because we can all share in that.
Yep.
And then we can also be like, well, I did this, I added this onto it and it really worked for me. And then someone else will be like, well, I tried that, it didn't quite work for me, but I took that bit of it and that bit of it, or this bit or that bit, and I did my own thing and did this. And
Mm.
someone else is like, cool, I'm going to try all of that. And hopefully something sticks. If not, I'll put this bit here and that bit there. And, and we use our own unique experiences, but built from a common base.
Yeah. Yep.
Which is then community. And
Yeah.
if you go in that, which when you look at the cycles outside in nature, you have the forests that grow and the communities and that nurture each other. You've got my local ancient woodland from here who's got massive tall oak trees. They're not that thick, so they're not like thousands of years old or anything like that, but they're old oak trees, but but they're surrounded by holly,
Mm.
surrounded by holly. And it's like, well, okay, the acorn's gone in the center of the holly. I call them holly holes, where the
Hmm.
holly grows. You have
Hmm.
a main trunk of holly, and it grows out, and it forms can form these kind of little gaps that you can go into and sit inside sometimes, and it's just massive, massive. Um, I need to have a look in that forest to see if they were done on purpose, if they are in a specific place.
Mm.
Because to me, that is the intention that the acorn was planted in the holly. I might be wrong, and they were planted next to each other so that the holly, the sharpness of the holly, could look after the
Uh-huh.
sapling while it's growing. I could be wrong. The holly could not be old enough, but to me, that's the kind of
Yeah.
zap that I've got. Oh, I wonder if that happened. I need to go and investigate this. So that's my next job for that particular
Okay.
part, anyway.
Wonderful. Well, Scott, I guess we should wrap up, although we could talk for, as you were saying before we started, like for 4 hours. We could
Yeah,
probably
yeah.
just go on and on and on, and it wouldn't even feel like 20 minutes.
No.
So, but we are going to wrap things up. I know that there was a little bit of confusion about which link this went to and whatever. I don't know. It's going to be uploaded to YouTube. I don't know if people have been commenting because I haven't been able to see comments. If there
Mm.
are questions in the live chat, I will do my best to answer them. Um, if anybody has posted any questions or comments in the live feed chat, I don't know because I can't see it right now. Um, it's not showing me this, and I'm afraid of like disconnecting. I was afraid of disconnecting the meeting.
Mm.
um, but and I'm also going to post in the comments for this the information about the Lightworkers Collective if anybody's interested in learning more about it. Also, my work that I do is a shamanic healer and a spiritual coach, and I also do readings in feng shui. I call it divine feng shui. And I love feng shui because it's also as above, so below, right? As everything is. So that's going to be put in the comments somewhere in the video at some point. Um, this has been so wonderful, and maybe we could do this again if you're up for it.
Yeah,
I, I think I would like to have more of this on my channel to have like conversations with amazing people like yourself who have so much
thank
to
you.
offer, and I really appreciate you just coming and showing your heart and your wisdom and sharing that with me and with whoever is watching or will watch in the future. It is so
Mm.
appreciated. And yeah, I just,
No, I appreciate the space. I appreciate all the help that I've had from you over these
oh,
last few months because
yeah,
it's been tough. I'm not gonna lie, it's been tough, and there's been a lot of help from a lot of good people.
I got your back.
Yeah, yeah,
I
no,
got your back.
appreciate it very much, very much.
So I'm just gonna go ahead and end the live stream. It could stay on here, but let me just stop the live stream. And so thank you everyone who has been watching or will watch in the future. This is Anna Pavlakis with the amazing, what did you call yourself? You said I'm just a crazy wizard, right?
Yeah,
With my wonderful crazy druid wizard friend Scott.
thank you. Yeah,
Scott Harris, thank you so much. So I'm going to
thank
end the
you.
live stream now.